Right now, or not? Yeah. Freaking outside report.
Hey, Bill.
That's what I'm aware of.
Okay. How much is one for her?
No. No.
You ready?
I'm getting there. If I get enough questions done, I can. I'll try it. I'm looking at the board, making sure I got everybody. There's Annie. Okay, do your thing.
Okay. Good afternoon, everyone. For everybody that doesn't know me, I'm Michelle Batters. I'm with Bill at ECI. We have a special presentation, like right off the bat, and I want to introduce Ted Baker. He is with the Innovation Connector, and he has a couple of things he'd like to say.
Yeah, first of all, Ted Baker, the Innovation Connector, Lori Albert and Natalie Smith also. And we just wanted to welcome you to our facility. If you've never been here before, shame on you. But we really do want to welcome you here. This is a place we love to collaborate with people, and we're just glad you're here. I just wanted to mention one thing as you get started. A number of weeks ago, I had the privilege of attending the International Business Innovation Association's International Convention Conference in Philadelphia. It's for what we do, it's like the big conference, okay? And I'm very, very grateful to be part of that for many, many years. I don't know if you know this, but we are what's listed as the only called soft landings designation in Indiana, and only one of less than 20 in the nation. And a soft landings program is for companies that are coming from overseas into a community. We guarantee those companies as they're coming in, so to say, a soft landing. We're going to welcome them here. We're going to do some, we're going to surround them with business resources. And so we've worked with, the community, we've worked with the county commissioners, the redevelopment commission and such. Just to give you an idea of a story that we do, we had a company coming in from Italy. I think they made a stop in Mexico on the way, but the guy who was going to lead that trip and was going to be here if the company moved here had a son we heard about had autism. He was a 12-year-old boy. And so I asked him, so what are you going to do with your son? They said they didn't know. And so with my connections that I've worked with Hillcroft for many years, on their board. And so I connected this person and myself with Gina at Hillcroft at their ABA clinic. And we took him out there the next day, spent about an hour walking around, seeing all of the students and all the kids that are out there every day that Hillcroft takes care of. And as we were walking around, this gentleman was walking around with tears rolling down his eyes. And he just said, I did not know that things like this were available for my son. And that's a little story, but taking them to schools, just making sure that they have what they need. Inviting Italians over to your house for Thanksgiving with your family, because they don't do that, and so those are the fun things that we get to do. Well, we're very, very grateful for the East Central Indiana Regional Planning District because they've had a really big play into what we've done with soft landings. And especially, I just want to thank Bill very much so for including us in what they've done and being part of it. When Brad was here, I'd give him all the kudos too. But Bill has been instrumental because these things don't happen without leadership. These things don't happen with someone pushing the vision constantly and making it happen. So we were able to receive the International Award this year for Soft Landings Destination of the Year. For us, that was a very, very big award for us and for our community because it speaks highly of our community. So what I did is I got an extra one made here. And so this just says NBIA 2025 Specialty Award Soft Landings Muncie Innovation Connector. So what I want to do is I want to present this to the East Central and Regional Planning District and for Bill himself because of the work that they've done. So you can proudly display this into your office. And now we want to take a picture. Appreciate you and what you're doing. Keep up the great work. Our community needs you. Our region needs you. So well done and keep it up. So thank you.
Thank you, Ted. You guys, because we couldn't do it without you, all of you together. Okay, getting on to the business at hand. Thank you, everybody. I know it's a little rundown. I mean, May's always been the tight one meeting of the year, but phone call late. Randy is out, Mr. Dunnick, and so is Mayor Rock. So if you all don't mind, I'll go ahead and run the agenda and go down it, keep everybody on pace and on track. So with that, I have completed the roll call and we have a quorum. So I would look for the approval of the meeting minutes of February 11, 2025. So moved.
I make a motion to approve.
Second, I get Chad. Good, sir. Any changes or addition? Seeing none, all in favor say aye. Or on the screen, thumb up. Opposed? Approved. I'm moving on to Treasurer's Report through April 30th, 2025.
All right, as of April 30th, total assets, $224,415.81. Total liabilities, $24,471.46. Retained earnings were $114,503.76. Net income was $85,440.59. And then on your next page on the quarterly, there is a gross profit January 1st through April 30th, gross profit of $281,049.90. Expenses were $195,609.31, which leaves a total operating income of $85,440.59.
Thank you. Seeing none, I would entertain a motion to approve.
Second.
Got Chad and Ron. All in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion approved. Okay. Next up, we have Miss Annie Cruz Porter with Purdue University, giving us a little update on the current SETS program. Annie?
Hi, everyone. I'm Annie Chris Porter. Let me see if I can share my slides. I've sent a request. So I've been working on the Comprehensive Economic Development Strategy for East Central Indiana. Let me see.
To be able to share, Annie.
Oh, let me find it. All right. Oh, that's tiny. Okay. Can everyone see that?
Yes. Yes.
Okay, awesome. Okay, so we'll move forward. I have presented to you before, but it has been a little while, so I just want to kind of go back and let you know that we are going to be working toward a SEDS that is adopted and approved by the EDA and only as an economic development district, and the EDA's regional distress criteria are income, unemployment, and special need, and that the counties involved in a region have to meet these criteria in order to be an EDD. So the benefits to becoming an EDD last year in 2024, there was nearly $25 million in federal money that was granted to regions and EDDs throughout Indiana. So it definitely has this upside. Okay, so a good SEDS must demonstrate significant public engagement. So far, we have had 3 engagement sessions, 1 in each county, and those were conducted by Ball State's Communities Institute, and there was also a survey that went out to the public. And then Indiana Community Institute at Ball State will be conducting a SWOT analysis of the region based on their findings. And then then there's also what we do at PCRD. We look at the industry clusters, skills, and occupations. We really have a very deep dive into those. And we've had one session with Bill already. We have another one scheduled for next week, I'm pretty sure. And where we further dive into that. And I'll let you know what that encompasses. And there's also an aspect of resiliency that they want to see within the document. And lastly, there's an evaluation that has very trackable metrics that Bill will be able to track and his other staff members and indicators for the region. Okay, so like I said, there were already 3 in-person stakeholder workshops for each county. There was a survey. We've had regional cluster data discussions. We did have an overview of regional cluster data with Bill, and we've kind of drilled down to a couple of them. And then we're also planning a policy formation session. Okay, so these are some of the responses that we had from the survey. I do not know the total count and the numbers behind this, but this gives you a sense of the proportion based by county. And the people who contributed to the survey. So there were a number of elected officials. Many people answered other. There's a few, let me see, students, healthcare, manufacturing has a small proportion, education, economic development. So you have a wide range of people who took the survey. When writing the SEDS, these are the communities that they wanted the region to keep in mind. So working poor, families, low-income children, people with chronic health issues, elderly and retiree populations. Those are the ones that we're going to keep in mind when we undertake the policy formation session. Organizations that should be involved in any kind of emergency response. This gives an indication of who should be at the table when the SEDS is actually implemented. So you have a range of local religious organizations, nonprofits, local government, including schools, and any other charitable organizations. How would you like to see your community become more resilient? So the number one answer was develop an emergency action plan with social service providers to quickly respond to situations such as tornadoes. And that was followed by a skilled construction workforce region-wide, and also starting a small business loan and emergency grant fund for the region. And these are all things that we can talk about as we go through the policy formation. So this one, resilient strategies, improve workforce education, attainment, and skills in the region is number 1, followed by increase in the capacity of local organizations to immediately respond in a crisis situation. And then lastly, strengthen the financial capacity in the region to ensure local lending, advice, and assistance sought during any kind of economic downturn. And any questions? Okay.
Amy, I
Yeah.
actually need to say, so my name is Jerome Sternheld, and I was working on the SEDS document, and I would remember at least 150 survey responses over, and those were actually, for those of you who don't know this, the survey was only open for 16 days, which made it a challenge.
16 days is not unusual. And that was undertaken by the Communities Institute. So that was under their purview. I don't have the results from that, other than what they provided me here.
Yeah, Jeff was tied up and couldn't make it to the day. We'll have
Yeah.
him do it as well.
Yeah, at least 150, we had at least.
Okay, so lastly, the opportunities that should be prioritized. So housing, all kinds, increased availability, childcare expansion, and blight removal, those are the top three. The most pressing threats are substance abuse, alcohol and drugs, lack of childcare, and crime. Opportunities and threats are again substance abuse, childcare expansion, and the limited available of housing. Okay, so let's switch over to the cluster focus. This is a picture of from 20 that shows the time period 2018 to 2023 of all the industrial clusters, with the exception of manufacturing in the ECI region. We went over this data one by one carefully with Bill, and we picked, or he picked rather, a couple of clusters. So primary metals, and let me go quickly back to this. So this quadrant here in the upper right is the star quadrant. And as an industry kind of goes through its life cycle, when it's a star quadrant, it is growing and very competitive. And the larger the size of the circle, the more competitive it is in relation to the national average, which is a location quotient of 1. So here in this upper right-hand quadrant are the ones that are performing well. The ones in the upper left quadrant are the ones that are maturing, and they're starting to slide into a recession for that industry. Down here, when they have, after they have shed a couple, some jobs and they're not as competitive, they tend to be, and they have a location quotient under the national average, they float within the emerging sectors. And then lastly, they come over here and they start to come, or that's transforming, I'm sorry. And when they come to the lower right, that's emerging before they come up to star. So it's not uncommon for an industry cluster to kind of cycle through all four within a 20-year time frame. So the ones that Bill wanted us to focus on are primary metals, agribusiness, transportation and logistics, and star cluster or chemical cluster. And the reason that primary metals and transportation and chemicals stood out primarily because they offer good paying jobs to the region. And agribusiness is a very highly performing and competitive cluster as well. So the next step is we have gone through a couple of these drill downs with Bill, where we show a shift share analysis, which shows job growth by sector, a leakage analysis, so the percentage uh, of the imports or exports that remain within a region versus outside of region. So how much is being manufactured, for example, within the ECI region that is therefore used by other manufacturers or other companies within the region versus what they import from outside or even what they export. So, and then top occupations with median earnings for each of these clusters. We look at workforce demographics, job postings, the number of job postings, the intensity of job postings, top companies posting jobs and the industries that they represent. So, for example, you'll have Tyson Foods as the company, and the industry would be poultry processing. And that is where we are right now. We will have a draft sets for you. Gosh, in about 5-6 weeks. So that's where we're at. And we just have 2 more sessions to go before we kind of wrap things up. And then we concentrate on actually writing the document. Any questions?
Thank you, Annie.
Yeah.
We got it down, this is the most comprehensive, set that I have done. This is my 3rd one. I mean, we really dug down the clusters, looking at the areas that are expanding over the 4 county region. where the job growth was that would take it to a sustainable wage, looking for the high-paying jobs, technology, the metals, looking into those different areas that we could expand on and where growth possibilities were. I'll be interested to see what the next dig down into these next clusters are. We identified 7. You've seen 4 of them there that we went through. There's still 3 more to go. And it really does show, if you watch it, and I know that cluster and 4 quadrants hard, but it rotates. It kind of keeps going in a vicious cycle, and then the ones that are permanent kind of stay in the middle. Like, for instance, the only one I can figure out, talking like Baltimore Hospital, how large, that cluster stays about the same. What I'm concentrating on are all the other ones that are moving around the outside and where the good paying jobs are coming from and what the talent is that we need to retain to this area and what we should be focusing our efforts on as far as what jobs should we be looking at in manufacturing or pharmaceutical, chemicals, or agribusiness that we actually should be pulling to this area, that we have a workforce to, supply and have the demand for it in this region. Those are the areas that we need to focus on and what we need to look at for the next 5 years. So we'll have more of that, like I say, we get through the next dump or the next cluster and dig down, and then we'll go to the document. We'll have that prior to our next meeting. You'll get a copy of that out, and I'll probably call a special meeting because this grant ends at the end of July. And once EDA approves, then I will ask for the board's approval, and so that we can get into them in a timely fashion to close out the grant at the same time. Okay? Any questions or concerns?
That was very well said, Bill. Yeah.
Okay, moving on, then we will go to new business. I'm going to jump here on your schedule. I apologize. This is my fault. I put something before the other. So I'm going to ask Kylie to give a little bit of an update on the SS4A from the old business down at the bottom, because then I got Matthew that will talk to us about the resolution 0, but you need to have an update, know where we're at before I ask you to pass the resolution. So Kylie, if you would, please.
Okay, so we did have our first steering committee meeting on May 6th. We actually had 1 steering committee from Delaware County there. We had 2 from Grant County and 2 from Jay County. So it was a good introduction to what the SS4A is. It was a good opportunity for people from the other communities to ask questions, share some of their concerns in their communities and so forth. We did discuss that kind of the stage we're at now. The team, which a lot of them are over there, the team has been working on giving American Structure Point, which is our consultant, all the data that they needed. Jacob sent them 10 years of crash data that he collected, that they're going to analyze in all 4 counties. Matthew and Jacob and Darlicia have all been helping with presentations at commissioner meetings, council meetings, so forth, trying to inform all the communities what we're doing and get everybody involved. And that's kind of where we sit now. We are kind of getting ready to reach out and do some public participation. So we're going to try to pick some activities that are already going on in the community and set up there, do some public participation with surveys, gathering input, passing out flyers and so forth. So we're getting some of those things scheduled that we know are upcoming. And then we'll have our next steering committee meeting soon as well. So is there anything that you can think to add to that, Matthew?
One other cool thing, working with Aaron, we're gonna get on the website, a tab put up for the SS4A as well, where all the meeting minutes will go. For example, the steering committee will just have if anybody wants to see the minutes. They'll be on the website. This resolution will be there as well, along with a little bit of information about SS4A and Vision Zero, which I'm going to talk about more.
And just to emphasize, just so the ones that may not be caught up on this, the SS4A was out of the Federal Highway Department. We're identifying, fatalities on the road, bad intersections, bad deal. The whole deal of this first part is planning. Where it's important is once we identify those in the 4 county region, then we can take the top 4 or 6 areas that we see, and then there's $2 billion left on the backside for funding. That enables the elected officials, if we identify something that's in your road plan and your county plan, that you're going to have to address it. If we can get it funded at 80-20, 90-10, you can move that money to some other project. You know, I mean, money's tight with SB1 and the changes in Indiana. That just gives you another opportunity to move your money around and still get other things done. So that is the goal, we had set as a team, was to, instead of 18 months, having this done at the end of 2025, so that we are ready to apply for funding for the 2026 call, so you can get it figured in your budget for next year. Once those are identified through your region, then you could, hopefully we can go for that funding, and once we get notification, then you can move that money to another area. Okay, so with that said, Matthew, do you want to go, and let's go to Vision Zero Resolution 2025-01, please.
Yep, so we have Matthew Nichols, project manager for the SS4A grant for ECI RPD. So I just wanted to take a brief moment and quickly introduce and explain Vision Zero and this resolution that the board's going to initially adopt. By definition, Vision Zero is a strategy that recognizes that traffic fatalities and serious injuries are absolutely unacceptable. The goal is to get it down to absolute zero. I know that's a very tall task, but that is the goal still. So at least trying to make the change to get there. And then this resolution represents a significant step forward in our shared commitment to improving transportation safety across the region. A few key principles that this resolution emphasizes. First is safety for everyone, whether that be walking, biking, driving on the roads, public transportation, anything. Second is it now acknowledges human error, and now is designing a system that puts many redundancies in place and tries to anticipate and mitigate errors that we know are going to happen. Third, it promotes equitable and accessible mobility for all people of all ages everywhere in the region. And finally, it just shows that transportation safety isn't just like an engineering issue. It's not one spot. It's actually an environmental issue. It's a public issue. It's a community issue. So I know it sounds a little cheesy, but this policy, when we do adopt it, it won't just be a document. It's going to be a pledge to make our region safer, healthier, and more resilient for everyone. Thank you.
Did everybody get a chance to look at it in the packet? Seeing that, I would entertain a motion on resolution 2025-01. So move. Got it first?
I'll second.
And a second. Shannon or Spencer, correct? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Resolution is approved. Okay, first step's gone. Okay, now we have Jay County update. Darlicia, do you have a little something about Jay County you'd like to share?
Sure. I've had a very excitable time. Last week, I actually attended a class for further education and economic development through Ball State, ECI, and got a lot of good, healthy conversation, good connects in order to further our pursuit over in the area. One of the focus items that was really nice to see was as it related to placemaking. That was actually a very big topic in the room for the week throughout the entire state of Indiana. So we are right on cue when it comes to that. Working with trying to do a fundraiser, $10,000 through the Give Butter campaign for a mural that the mayor in Portland definitely wants to be able to promote. We're working on a video as well in order to get his actual side to present to everyone. Seems like it's a very small thing, but when you're looking for funding and things are moving so quickly, being able to hit those low-hanging fruits is still something that creates movement, right? Momentum. So even though it's something that can be considered small, it is actually a very big portion and a big identifier for the communities. I'm also working on the OOR program. As of today, we received one new invoice for Dave's Heating and Cooling, which is one of the contractors awarded in this grant. And we also have 10 homes inspected. What we are attempting to do is finish out the list. We have, I think it was 72, 71 applicants that were approved, and get them through the inspections as well as the radon testing so that we can take them to the bidding table. We're just trying to make the most use of this grant, spend as much as we possibly can, and help as many homes as we can. We've been getting great feedback from not only the construction individuals, but also the community members. I get calls every day. So and even looking for additional help, so even helping in those aspects. The digital opportunity grant has been paused, but even with that happening, we're not stopping momentum. I found new ways to approach and do surveys for my BR&E work. Through the last week, I actually had a connect with Brandon out of Fort Wayne, who helped me understand how they developed a survey in order to approach their businesses, industries, things of that nature. So it's gonna be a pretty cool way to engage and collect as much data as possible specific to, not only Jay County, but throughout our region. I am also teamed up with Autumn and Courtney Berkey at the Health Department, who actually has extensive background in international work and economic development as well. So we've got a really good team that's still trying to focus on that digital space and broadband opportunities. So yeah, that's my update for today.
I do want to touch on Jay County too. We're setting up, Jacob, workshops on the USDA. We're still working on that, getting those set up with Ted. And what did you call it? Quick Biz or Biz Hacks?
Hacks or a hackathon. We're talking about the hackathon.
We're small entrepreneurs that are still working full-time jobs, but are wanting to get into their own business and that transition. We're putting on some special workshops just for them that are maintaining their full-time job while they're trying to transition into an entrepreneur. We found a need for that, so we're creating a program with 2 or 3 workshops to kind of help them out as well going on in Jay County. Also, we on the commissioner side, and Chad can pipe in there if he wants, but we have gotten the solid waste management RFPs out and back, and we meet next week on that, and then we're getting ready for the EMS building that they're looking at there on the 68 acres as well. So things are moving along well in Jay County. Moving on next, Anna, would you like to give a small update on the local and grants that we've hit, local and foundation side of it?
Yeah, I think we've hit quite a bit. So Ball Brothers Foundation recently just awarded us $30,000 for the continuance of our internship program for the year 2025 going into 2026. So that was really exciting. That definitely helps. Some of that is for training. So some of that can be for training workshops open to our interns, but also the community. So we're looking at some of those things in future development. We are working currently on a lot of local grants for operational support for the internships, but as well for some for the new calendar year next year. So we're looking ahead into some of those projects. And then we have grants submitted for more workshops. I know we have some for, it was financial literacy from the Three Rivers Foundation, the new bank. So hopefully we can hear about that soon. But yeah, we have, hopefully in the next 2 months or so, we'll hear back and see if we've been awarded on some of those local and community grants. But we did get the $30,000 from Ball Brothers. And then also locally, this was regional, but it was hosted in Jay County. This not past weekend, but the one before was our golf outing event. We were able to raise, I believe it was $11K that we had added up in office from this event, and I think everyone had a good time. It was great, so I think next year will be even better. I know Darlene and I talked about too, maybe implementing some type of online donations. I know during the raffles, they had said if there was some type of Cash App, Venmo, that might be something. So in the coming years, you know, there could be more.
We could make some changes. No, that again, for those that don't know, that money, this year we held the golf outing in Jay County and Portland. We've held it in Delaware County at Crestview. We move it around from year to year, but the money goes spread across the entire region. That'll be a little over $2,000 that'll go to all 4 of the counties for backpacks to school, fresh start, Special Olympics, just to get the kids off to the right start. If you've never been or seen any of this, it would amaze you at what this looks like when these kids come in these rooms to pick this stuff up. I mean, when they're grabbing socks, underwear, books, backpacks versus toys, it tells you the essentials they need and where they lack. It means a lot to them, and it gets them off to the right start. So you guys did a great job, and the team did a good job putting it together. I'm very appreciative. That seems to continue to grow. So thank you. Moving on, the ECI RPD 2024 achievements. This, I just wanted your opinion. Some of you probably seen it. I stuck it out there, put it out electronically. We did something a little bit different. It kind of shows the format. It's a single page about the whole region, our affiliate members, and then some of the stuff that went on during the year in 2024, from the workshops to the broadband initiative, the North Star workshops and digital literacy, our brownfields, EBA, project site summary list. So if you all have seen it, if you haven't, I'd like you to take a look at it and give me your feedback on it. You like it? You dislike it? Is there things that you would rather see changed, or do you think it's a waste of our time as far as putting it together and going out? It's just something different. The QR code takes people directly to the website, to the pages. We've worked with it with Spotted Monkey and designing. It's a little bit new marketing, a way to get it out there. Everybody's on iPhone, so you don't have to carry around a great big book. You can just hit it. It's on your phone. So if you would just take a look at it, and I would really appreciate some feedback on it one way or another. And negative is okay too. If it's not right, if there's something wrong, I have to know it now before we get down the road and develop the next one. Okay? Next up is Select USA 2025. Some of you know that ECI RPD was contractually contracted with Delaware County Commissioners. We handle the international development we have for some years. With Select USA, that is foreign direct investment. All of them come into Harbor, Maryland at the Gaylord. It's a 3-day event. Let's call it speed dating on coffee, because that's exactly what it is. You get 30 minutes at tables and you run around and, well, you put in 10,000 plus steps a day, don't we? You run from one side of this place to the other and going down, and you try to find what you can find as far as what might match up with your area. Just a short recap, we had over 23 meetings, 23 invitations sent out. We had 13 meetings. Out of those 13, we had 5 no-shows, and we had 8 good meetings. Out of those 8 good meetings, we had 5 positive companies that have replied to us already, and 2 that I really think that we will get here for a visit. This is a slow process at this stage. This is the dating stage here. This is the getting to know each other stage, starting a relationship. We want them to come here and tour, and we want to see what their facility. The reason we're talking about it here, not only is ECI done, that's kind of been done on the side, but I know Jay County and Grant County have also shown interest in this. We have been very successful at this over the years with the Delaware County Commissioners, and ECI has been helping over 11 companies here that have moved from Italy and Germany that we have been able to bring here. Michelle does a great job on the ground facilitating and helping them. Picture yourself, pull yourself up right now, drop you in Europe somewhere, and you don't know a single thing other than you got a business you got to run. Where do you get your phone at? Where do you go eat? Where do you go to school? Where do your kids go to school? All of this, these people don't know. We take care of all. That is one of the things that Ted has given us the soft business landing is we have all of those resources in play due to the Delaware County Commissioners, and over the period of time that we've worked with them, all of these are set up. The banking and the attorneys, all of that is set up. So it's a good program. I look for it to grow. I hope that the other counties want to get more involved. And I think with what's going on, we know we don't want to steal from one area to another, but anything that comes in from another country is direct investment. I mean, that is new money on the table that did not exist the day before, the hour before. That's not taking it from somewhere else and just shipping it over inside the United States. That's brand new money and brand new opportunities. So hopefully we'll have a couple of those, and this program will continue to grow. Anybody got any questions?
The 2 that you said are interested in coming, maybe interested in coming for visits, what industries are they in?
We've always manufactured, or the commissioners in Delaware wanted to look solely at manufacturing. So we looked at nothing but the manufacturing industries. One of these is, not to get into detail, obviously because we're in the new, is a pump that brings certain chemicals out of the ground. You can picture that. All brand new, innovative. It's not the old style going at all. The other is a building, construction builder. You think, well, we've got construction site. Well, this construction site makes all of their own metal, all of this, and they sell across all of Europe and the United States. As far as the steel studs, the skins, all of that is produced by them as well. It's kind of a twofold business. They sell a product, and yet they have a building site to their industry as well. It's interesting what's coming across. I would say that it was probably not as big as we've seen before, but there was still good enthusiasm, and there was still a lot of people there looking to invest in the United States. There was more Asian there than there was Europe for the first time. Usually the Europeans dominated the course. This time there was a lot more Asian Americans or Asian countries there than there was in the past. So we're seeing a different shift and a change a little bit. So it'll be interesting to see how it plays out over the next couple of years, this new administration and everything that's going on nationally. I think that had something to do with why the count was down, because not a lot of people knew what the landscape was going to be. Why would I go look if I've got 150% tariff or whatever? I think there was a lot of animosity and I'm not sure what's going on. As you see, they all backed up, and who came over was glad they were here now that the changes have been made, and we're very informative, want to get into the meetings, and we're working their way around the table. Again, it's speed dating on coffee, and that's exactly what it is. A lot of meetings took place afterwards, but they were good discussions, and I think we found some solid leads. And our past has proved that it does good to go to these meetings. Like I said, 11 companies here already from Europe, from Italy and Germany and Canada. So, moving on from that, we go into old business federal grants, updates. USDA, you know, we're on grant 6. We have money for workshops, for business plans for anybody that's wanting to start. That's region wide. We can set those meetings with Ted. We also are looking in Jay County and Grant County to put on workshops for small business entrepreneurs, from where to come up with funding to how to put together a business plan to even a struggling business, putting another set of eyes on. If some of like the officials, mayors, commissioners, if you've got businesses out there and they're struggling and they're giving you some kind of information, we handle those as well. We have a team that puts a different set of eyes on their books and what's going on and looks at it through their eyes and maybe be able to help figure them out to get things back on the right track. So it's not just for someone wanting to start. If someone's struggling, we also have funds available that we can put them through that and put another set of eyes on it and try to help them in that direction as well. But again, Jacob is working on the workshops, getting them set up with Ted and both Jay and Marion. And then Ted, we will be working with Ted in November on the business Entrepreneur Week. That's the whole month here, well, that whole week in November, feels like a month. We'll be working with him in Delaware County for that one as well. EPA, that grant, we just, believe it or not, we had $500,000. We had until September of this year to spend it. We spent the last $6,700.28 this morning on a partial phase 2. We exhausted $500,000 in Delaware County, in the 3 neighborhoods that were identified, Industry, Whiteley, and McKinley neighborhood, as well as the county. The steering committee approved the last allotment this morning, so that order will be issued for it. And then, bad news, we did not get approved for 2025. Our grant was kicked. I don't know by how much. I don't know if it was 1 point, by 5 points. I haven't been through a debrief yet. For a lot of people, they hang their heads. I'm not hanging mine. We've been fortunate. We've had 3. We've got 1.7 million out of EPA. I think they had 470 some applications. Only 213 were eligible to be funded. Or that's all the money they had to fund. So I'm taking my mind, they spread the money around a little bit. We've already had 1.7. There's no reason being greedy, but we will definitely apply again in 2026. Matter of fact, we had that conversation on the Zoom call this morning after we made that one that we would entertain going in for 2026. So we will start that probably about June, July. Those applications go in October, and then you're told the following next spring. So about the same time. So we will do that again in 2026. EDA resiliency has been closed out. All of that is done. That was the COVID money from 2020. If you all remember, it was $400,000. Put 6 different interns in the field in workplace opportunity zones, you name it, regional plan, impact plan. That grant has been completely closed out and is off the books, so that one is closed. We do have 1 grant still open with EDA, and that is the SED that Annie was going over, and that closes out at the end of July. So we are real close on that. It's just finishing up the last drill down on the last 3 clusters, and then we can merge the public engagement with the data and the cluster deal for your guys' review changes, and then we get EDA to approve, and then we'll get the board to approve that so we can move forward. That'll be our blueprint for the next 5 years as a region. As I can say, they're the biggest point. It doesn't mean just because something's in there, we'll accomplish it. What it tells the EDA and the federal government is we've had conversations and we know where we want to go. It's kind of like telling them the map, so they're not handing out money to somebody that doesn't know where they're going to and what they're trying to achieve. The SEDS is very important. I think the drill down will show that in the clusters. We tie it together with the projects. We will score more points on our applications as far as grants going forward. She's already done the SS4A. The last thing, you want to talk about CCMG? You want me to? I figured you would. See, I was trying to pawn that one off. CCMG for the elected officials, most of you know it. That program has been discontinued as of right now, on hold, not discontinued, wrong word, hold. There'll be no July call. The rules are being rewritten. New legislation came down out of this year's event. The numbers and quotients have changed. They will be putting that all together and getting a hold of us. There will only be one call per year going forward. There won't be 2 calls every year. So there'll only be one, but we don't have the stipulations and everything hasn't been put out in writing yet. As soon as it does, I will get with you. There's 9 different cities that we handle here. Some in Grant, Delaware, Jay. The only one I don't think we're in is Blackford County. So as soon as we get all of it, and we help Madison County as well, you're right. So as soon as we get all of that information, we will pan it out, or we will send it out to all the elected officials, along with a brief synopsis of where we think we can go and how we can help and what we can get done from this office that'll keep the cost down on your end. The ones that have used it, I think are very happy. They keep using it year after year. We do everything. We just need to cancel checks, the closeouts, and the few signatures, and we'll get the estimates and we get it out. We want to get as much of that money as we can, and it really helps in the rural areas. The small communities, especially at the 2575, would not be able to do the road repairs that you see in these small towns without it, because their budgets are just not that big. They can't do it, or they have to wait multiple years to be able to even go out there and do a small little patch. So the CCMG is a big program. I hope it continues. I don't know how much the governor will cut out of that funding, but I hope it is minimal so that we can keep that going in the rural areas, because it makes a huge difference to that area. It really does.
I can share a little bit on that. They have been finding $350 million from the state of Indiana. They have cut it to $100 million. So this past 2 years of the increase of the 1.5 million max, I don't foresee that coming out. I do know the state is still geared on supporting the smaller communities. That is a priority for them. But I don't see that 1.5 million, and we're hearing rumors there's gonna be a call this fall, but I don't know what month at this point. So, yeah, it's kind of disappointing. That's why I wanted to tell most of the guys.
Anybody have any questions on CCMG? Moving on, brownfields. I know I just said EPA and we closed out the last of the grant, but this is something I wanted everybody to hear. That doesn't mean we cannot still do brownfields. What I'm saying is we have a very good relationship with IDEM and with Indiana Brownfields, with Andrea Robinson and all of them. We're working 2 projects with the city of Muncie right now that are outside of that grant. They know that we can do it. There's targeted brownfields. If any of you elected officials have businesses or what come in and need a phase 1 or phase 2 done or something, I can't promise it, but I can make a phone call. And if we may not have got awarded for 2025, but the state of Indiana got awarded money from the EPA for brownfields. That is up to their discretion where to spend. Basically, a lot of it comes up to who asks if they don't have a sheet of going. What makes the difference is if you know you have something that needs to be developed, we have access to the property, I can make a phone call, because that's the 2 things that we need to know. Can we have access to the property if it's a phase 1 or a phase 2? But if we can get to that, get to Andrea, get to the Indiana Brownfields, it may be something that could come out of the POSI fund. What it comes out is, there is still money available, but we have to ask for it in a different manner. So don't think that we can't do brownfields, we can, we want to continue this. I think we've got a good team, like I said, at 1.7 million, well over 60 million in redevelopment out of that 1.7 million. The return on investment is great. I hope the program continues to prosper and continues to grow because we're clearing a lot of blighted sites up and we've gotten a good return on our investment as far as development afterwards, jobs and assessed value, properties back on the tax roll. That's what matters. Last thing I have on here is Washington Fly-In for anybody that would be interested. Washington Fly-In this year will be in September from the 15th through the 19th. They will be in session. If anybody is interested in going, has anything to go, we will be doing, ECI will be sending a team there. I know Ted wants to go, Baker wants to go with the Innovation Connector for the Tech Hub. But anybody in the 4-county region that wants to go or needs to go, that needs to have a visit at an agency or with our elected officials for letters of support or input in projects that you may have going on in your county, please let me know. I will be firming that up with Michelle. We'll get that done probably before the August meeting. So look for some emails going out. We want to get hotels when they're in session. Everybody's running in for the same reason that we are. Kind of gets a little hectic. We like to get downtown to where you're close to where we can walk around because it's pretty big and pretty hectic driving through traffic. So if you do have an interest, you would like to attend this year, please get a hold of me, let me know, and we will get you the information you need to make a decision. Okay? Other than that, crossing that off, we are down to number 9, roundtable, open discussion. Does anybody from any have anything to bring up to the board? Did I put everybody to sleep?
No. Also, will there be a regional engagement session for the sets, like where, like, from all the counties and then like they would see printed copies? Will that happen?
There'll be, everybody will get it once it's done up, there'll be copies sent out to all the region, yeah.
Like it's meaning the draft plan for,
Correct, it'll go out for comment and public comment once it's all put together from BSU and Purdue. Then we'll get the feedback and come together as a group for passage in here and with the EDA. Okay? Any other questions or concerns? Seeing none, I would entertain a motion to adjourn. So move. I got a first and a second. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed? We are adjourned. Thank you very much. Thank you guys on TV. Thanks, man.
anyone that hasn't signed in, you guys have you guys signed in?
There was 2 going. Yeah, there was one down each side. Who were.
I did send you a draft about the 30 minutes that I we're in the process of aligning okay. Found out. Okay, gotcha. You said 30,000. I also said another draft about recap over something in January. So if you want to look at that, you will have to update those lines. I figured you could put it all in one piece with the internship program, that way it's, you know, it's not like.
Yeah. No, I think that's at least a good step. It takes the art.